Comprehensive preparation for the state funeral of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong.
U.S. elections. Ms. Harris leads Mr. Trump in latest poll.
A farmer's child who graduates from a rural school achieves 2 perfect 10 scores in Group C.
Hello, welcome to today's story. Here we go, the first step of the show. Our preparations for the state funeral of General Secretary Nguyễn Phu Trong on July 25th to July 26th have been carefully and solemnly prepared by the Central Committee and the Ministry of National Defense. Also, the military forces are ready for their duties.
On the morning of July 24th, a working delegation from the Ministry of National Defense led by Lieutenant General Vinh, Deputy Minister of National Defense, inspected the preparations for the state funeral of General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong at the National Funeral Home, No. 5 Tran Tan Tong, Hanoi. In recent days, the units of the Ministry of National Defense have coordinated with relevant agencies to focus on installing equipment and preparing necessary tasks to ensure absolute safety for the funeral. As of now, all preparations have been completed on schedule, ensuring solemnity and safety. The viewing of General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong will be held at the National Funeral Home No. 5 Tran Tan Tong, Hanoi, from 7 o'clock to 2200 on July 25, 2024 and from 7 o'clock to 1300 on July 26, 2024. The memorial service will be held at 1300 on July 26, 2024 at the National Funeral Home No. 5 Tran Tan Tong, Hanoi. The viewing and memorial service for General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong will also be organized at the same time at the Reunification Palace in Ho Chi Minh City and in his hometown of Dong Hoi Commune, Dong An District, Hanoi.
A Reuters poll shows that Mrs. Kamala Harris has widened the gap, leading Mr. Donald Trump by 2 percentage points after the President Joe Biden announced at the end of his re-election campaign.
The poll was conducted on July 22 to 23, following the Republican National Convention as well as President Biden's announcement to withdraw from the White House race and endorse Ms. Harris. According to the Reuters Ipsos poll results, the approval rating for U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is currently 44%, while for Republican candidate Donald Trump it is 42%. In a related development, on July 23, Vice President Kamala Harris held her first campaign rally in the key battleground state of Wisconsin as a presidential candidate. In her 17-minute speech, she publicly criticized her opponent Donald Trump, pointing out his weaknesses, and compared her own background as a former prosecutor with Trump's criminal record.
The head of European Union's foreign policy, Josep Borrell, has requested to move an important meeting scheduled for August 28th to 30th from Budapest to Brussels due to disagreement over supporting Ukraine, as well as the recent visit of the Hungarian Prime Minister to Moscow.
I think that
on July 22, the EU's top representative for security and foreign policy, Josep Borrell, announced that the EU will hold the next meeting of foreign ministers and defense ministers in Brussels, Belgium, instead of the Hungarian capital Budapest, where Hungary currently holds the rotating presidency of the EU Council. Mr. Josep Borrell criticized Budapest for lack of cooperation, as the country, as a member of the European Union and the current EU Council President, has not supported the bloc's foreign policy in line with EU treaty requirements. According to officials, at the recent meeting in Brussels, many EU foreign ministers expressed positions that contradicted the Hungarian foreign minister on the issue of Ukraine, and also opposed Hungary's separate move to visit Russia in the recent past. Meanwhile, Hungary has said that Borrell's decision to move the meeting location was hasty.
Upcoming are some updated news.
In the first 6 months of 2024, Vietnamese users spent a total of 143,900 billion Vietnamese dongs on online shopping on e-commerce platforms. In the first half of 2024, e-commerce in Vietnam continued to grow and became a bright spot in the overall economic landscape. According to data from market analysis firm Metric, Vietnam's e-commerce is on a growth trajectory of over 54% in both revenue and volume compared to the first 6 months of 2023. Specifically, the top 5 e-commerce platforms including Shopee, Lazada, Tiki, Sendo, and TikTok Shop recorded 143,900 billion Vietnamese dongs in revenue and 1.533 million successful product deliveries to customers, increasing by 54.91% and 65.55% respectively compared to the same period in 2023.
At the 2024 Farnborough International Air Show, Vietnam airline Vietjet and aircraft manufacturer Airbus have just signed a contract for the purchase of 20 new generation wide-body A330neo, A330-900 aircraft, worth a total of $7.4 billion. This is one of the largest contracts at this year's air show. The new aircraft will be operated on the airline's expanding long-haul network as well as on high-demand routes in the region. The new planes will replace Vietjet's existing A330-300 fleet and support the airline's plans to expand its long-haul operations.
The aftermath of Storm Number 2 has caused heavy damage to property and crops in the northern and north-central provinces of Vietnam. Notably, 2 people have died and 4 are missing in Son La province. Currently, the Steering Committee for Disaster Prevention and Search and Rescue in Son La province is coordinating with local authorities to search for the missing persons, deploying forces based on the 4-on-the-spot principle to be ready to evacuate people and assets from areas at risk of flash floods and landslides to safe places. Meanwhile, 25,556 hectares of rice and 2,544 hectares of other crops were inundated in the coastal northern provinces. In Hanoi, the heavy rains and floods have also caused severe inundation in many urban and suburban areas.
Truyen, a farmer's child studying at a rural school, has surpassed many candidates from renowned schools in Nghệ An province to become the runner-up in the Group C of the 2024 high school graduation exam, scoring 29.5 points. Notably, Truyen has achieved a double perfect 10 scores in 2 subjects, history and geography. Now let's join to meet Truyen in today's story.
Nguyen's parents are all farmers, so she chose to self-study and master the fundamentals taught in class. At home, she diligently reviews the lessons and completes all assignments. For any parts she didn't fully understand, she would ask her classmates and teachers. During her 3 years at Co Du High School, Nguyen consistently earned the title of an all-around outstanding student. In 2023-2024, she won the 2nd prize in the provincial geography competition. Notably, in the 2024 high school graduation exam, Nguyen achieved perfect double 10 scores in history and geography, and a 9.5 in Vietnamese literature.
For Group C subjects, it's not just about memorizing, but really mastering the knowledge. I spent a lot of time exploring and deepening my understanding, and learning to identify key terms in the lessons. Thanks to the guidance of my teachers and the support of my friends, I was able to achieve the results I have today.
With 29.5 points in Group C, ranking 2nd in the province, Tran Thi Ngoc Nguyen has registered for the Economics Law program at the Hanoi Law University. During her summer break, in addition to helping her parents with household chores, Nguyen is taking the time to read more books and newspapers to supplement her knowledge of life and society, as well as to improve her English proficiency, in order to meet the demands of her new learning environment.
We are farmers and do not have the education level or time to teach our daughter. But from a young age, Nguyen has had the drive to learn and seek guidance from her teachers and friends.
With 29.5 points, Tran Thi Ngoc Nguyen is one of the 9 students with the highest Group C scores in Nghe province. This achievement is not only a source of pride for her family and school, but also for the entire education sector in Nghệ An district. Nguyen's exam results have contributed to the overall performance of Co Du High School in the 2024 National High School Graduation Exam.
The last story just ended our program today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye and see you later.